Before I get started with this awesome Triple P that is ahead of you, I have to give a shout out to Dale Wayne. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your last name. You can correct me down in the comments if you are subscribed to my channel or happen to come across this video. So, if y'all remember, about a month or a little over a month ago, I did a video pretty much putting Layshia Clarendon on blast for some comments she made about black men. And I'm going to paraphrase what she said. She basically was saying that she was upset that the WNBA does not get the same attention as the NBA, and she's upset that most of the attention does not come from black men, or that the WNBA is somehow suffering financially or viewership wise because of black men. And I had to pretty much put her in her place in my own way. And y'all who saw the video will have seen what she has said. If not, what I'll do is I will link the video that I did about what she said in the description, and you can go back and watch it for yourself, and so you can get a clarification of what's going on here. But the reason why Petty has come out to play today is because Layshia Clarendon just got cut from her team. She played for the New York Liberty, but she ended up getting cut and ended up I think being replaced by another player when it came down to it. So now she's pretty much, as far as I know, a free agent. And guess what? The funniest part about it is the people that cut her, I bet you most likely wasn't even a black man. And I kind of figured that as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and read this article that's coming from the NY Daily News, and we'll go from there. Liberty waived Layshia Clarendon in preparation for Natasha Howard return. It ended up being a tough decision. Layshia Clarendon was a huge part of the 2020 season. They were no longer needed in that role with the Liberty for 2021. Clarendon was the first piece of the puzzle Liberty head coach Walt Hopkins started to construct his first year. He was acquired early in the offseason during the pandemic delayed the start of the season and forced it to open in a bubble at the IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. On Thursday, in order to make space for the roster for Natasha Howard, the last piece of this year's puzzle, the Liberty waived Clarendon. It was in no way an easy decision. It was not a decision that we came to lightly, Hopkins said Friday before the Liberty's game against the Mystics in Washington. It's a lot of deliberation, and ultimately we had to look at what we were building and maximizing the usage of the minutes that we have for our young players. So she pretty much got cut right as soon as the season is beginning, not before it started, but as it was beginning, like literally right as the season was starting. Oh well, let me continue. So it ended up being a tough decision, one that we think is the right one. Hey, if they like it, I love it. Clarendon started 19 of the 22 regular season games that year, averaging about 26 minutes, 2.5 rebounds, and almost 4 assists, and 11.5 points per game. But they were more than just the most veteran of the team. Clarendon was a mentor and teacher for the new look team, carrying 7 rookies, 8 if you include the first year head coach. In particular, she was responsible for helping Sabrina Ionsu, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce her name, adjust to being a point guard in the WNBA. She just makes people better around her, Clarendon said of Ionsu in July. And it's really nice to have as a point guard playmaker myself. It's like great to have another point guard playmaker, knowing like I could be off the ball sometimes and she could bring it out. But we have like multiple people who can play and lead in different positions. That Liberty team lacked depth. The current Liberty went into the season with a lot of it. Layshia absolutely had an impact on last year in a lot of ways, Hopkins said of Clarendon, who was also an essential part of the WNBA's racial justice activism. Clarendon stepped forward to sit on the league's first ever Social Justice Council, which last year worked to advocate for justice for Breonna Taylor and other black and brown women who were victims of police brutality. But at the end of the day, our job is to put the best group out there on a night-to-night basis that we think fits our system and gives us the best chance to win. Hopkins continued. It was that way last year and it was this way this year, and it'll be that way going forward. Of the 3 games the Liberty, who are currently 3-0, have played so far this season, Clarendon played in just 1 of 3 minutes. 1 for 3 minutes, excuse me. 1. So that means that they played an entire, because in case y'all don't know, the time in the WNBA is 10 minutes per quarter, 20 minutes per half. So if she only played 3 minutes for 1 game out of all of the games they played, if you compile all of those up, that's about what, 100, let me make sure my math is right. That's like 160 minutes? No, 120 minutes. Let me make sure, yeah, like about 120 minutes total, and she only played 3 minutes out of 3 games. What does that tell you? That means they already knew she was about to get cut. She just didn't know it. Or maybe she did, I don't know. But if she didn't, hey, that makes it even better. Them comments that she made about black men last month, like I said, I'm gonna link the video I did about that in the comment section, not in the comment, in the description, and you can actually see and hear the scathing things that she said. I want to thank every person who's reached out to me. Our family has been flooded with an outpouring of love, Clarendon said in a tweet Friday. I'm still pretty shocked and heartbroken to be in this moment. Well, by her saying that, shocked and heartbroken, that means she didn't know that it was happening. They kind of just like, we kind of toss it at you. But don't worry, people have tried to bury me before. They just keep forgetting I'm a seed and I'll be back. Howard, whose EuroLeague season ended this month, is still in the WAIVES screening protocol, but was reported to be en route to Brooklyn Tuesday. So they are basically so it's almost like she was a backup person, because they said that this person that they're bringing back, this Natasha Howard person, they was I guess they had WAIVES. They said screening protocol. So she was only there to be temporary anyway, as far as that position goes. And they said, oh, she's back, she's good to go. So Layshia, you're out. Natasha, welcome back, you're in. Ha! So she was the substitute. Literally just a long running substitute. They're gonna sit up there and make them comments about black men and how they don't support the WNBA, and that's why their numbers are failing, as if that's our fault, like that's our problem. I do not feel bad at all for Layshia for the comments, after them about her getting cut after them comments that she made about black men. Now I dare her to blame this on black men, because it wasn't black men that got her cut. I wonder what she's going to do now, especially since the WNBA salary really isn't shit. I'm just be honest. And it's like some people's like, oh, how am I going to say this and shit? Trust and believe those who play in the WNBA feel the exact same way. Some of them actually said it. After all, why they keep trying to beat down the NBA to try to give them more money? Because they know they're paying shit. But at the same time, their attendance is very low. They play during the summer months when hardly any other sports are going on except baseball, and everyone else is at the ballpark, so they're not going to be watching a WNBA game. One major issue that people had with the WNBA for so long and still do to this day is the fact that they can't or don't dunk. Or they could if they will lower the rim, but then they were like, oh, they're giving them an advantage to dunk. So, and some other things, but it is what it is. Maybe, they can call out to people in the academy to, show up a little bit more. But see, here's the thing. They need to realize that the NBA is always going to be more popular. And it has nothing to do with them being a man versus a woman thing. It's just how it's always been. And that's one thing I've always disliked when it came to the WNBA and their complaints about viewership, is them trying to turn it into a man versus woman thing as far as genders go when it comes to the WNBA and the NBA, who gets viewed more. When it's the NBA that actually helps to fund the WNBA. If they pull out their funding, it's a wrap. So consider yourself extremely lucky, and Layshia, stop biting the hand that feeds you. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.